All right. Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Urban Heat R&B Talk on a Thursday. I'm Steve Gooseby.
Good morning. It's your girl, the most powerful Melly B. Goose. It's Thursday. I'm happy to be here. How are we already in August? What is going on?
Goodness.
What is going on?
I went, remind me.
Bro, I went to Starbucks.
These months are going by very quick.
But wait, I went to Starbucks this morning, ready to have my berry lemonade with my boba because I was like my jump off drink. They were like, ma'am, we're so sorry, but that's out of season. Say what? But
I'm not a Starbucks person, but
I'm not either. But like, this was my only thing that I really enjoyed from them.
Wow.
I love Starbucks for the lemonade.
All right. Well, the summer has been fantastic. And before we get into things, we have a beach party happening this weekend at Hampton Beach. If you're not doing anything, come join us. We are in the month of August.
Yeah, baby.
So, this definitely, in my opinion, has been one of the better summers in terms of events. Events have been going on like
it's been
every
cold,
single week. Not what?
I don't know.
Cold?
I have not.
Oh my goodness. I don't know where you've been.
What?
You've been in the house or something.
What? Yes. I've been in the house and every weekend I'm on a payroll somewhere. No, what I'll say to you is this, right? I think that there's something to be said about I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, we've definitely been out here. We've been doing our thing, but it hasn't been like hot. I haven't felt like, oh my God, it's been amazing.
I don't know where you've been.
I don't know. I just
we're in different worlds then.
I guess so.
We are in different worlds.
Okay. What timeline you on?
Listen, the weather's been fantastic to me this summer. It's been fantastic, events after events after events. And I've been working a lot. I've been doing a lot of parties.
Right.
So I've been busy in that fashion. But like I said, this weekend, we got the beach party, the 5th annual Urban Heat Hampton Beach Party. Come on down, bring your canopies, bring your beach balls, your chairs, lots of fun.
You didn't
free
do that
food,
injustice.
free drinks.
Oh,
and guess what?
What?
The soundtrack is going to be provided by R&B Vibes. That's right.
Ooh, you didn't listen. You did put your foot in it last year. You applied the pressure and you did not let up. I have to give that to you. Shout out to you, Goose, for that one.
It's going to be a great time.
But let me do it. Can I do it? Can I do it? So I want to make sure you all understand that the Urban Heat Beach Party is taking over Hampton Beach in Hampton, New Hampshire, Saturday, August 9th, 2025. Family fun and free. Be there because we are bringing the food and drinks. All you got to do is bring your beach chair and your canopy, and you will be able to enjoy your beach day with all the personalities. Because the way you were doing it, dude, it was we gonna have this really amazing beach party, and we'd like to thank you for coming.
I'm not even gonna respond to that. I'm gonna let her have her fun.
I love you, Goose.
But
anyways, Goose we trust.
Anyways, we got the powerhouse trader. He's in the building, so we're gonna be talking to him. Demark Davis is here. We're gonna talk to him about trading and what other business he's got going on because he's always got something happening. So,
have you seen his arms? You sure it's just a powerhouse trading? It look more like powerhouse lifting.
Well, I don't pay attention to his arms.
I pay attention to everything.
I see. But yeah, so we got him coming up. But before we get into that, let's just talk a few other things. I have a couple of clips I do want to play. One that involves trading. Okay. So I want to play that one in a minute. But also I just want to talk about real quick because, as I said a week ago, I follow those guys from Earn Your Leisure.
Yes.
And they're always talking they're always giving you great information when it comes to finances. But one of the guys, I think his name is Bilal, and he's in China. Okay. Or he was in China, and he was just talking about how different it is in America.
Okay.
And some of he talked about how quiet it is.
Interesting.
Okay. There's hardly any noise pollution, whereas here we're always in a rush. They're not in a rush in China. They take their time. They're not late. They're not yelling and screaming. They're not being cut off, trying to get to work, things like that. And so, I mean, when I go outside the country, I do find things massively different.
Sure.
In other places compared to America. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. So, why do you think there's a stereotype out there that Americans in general are loud, rude, and obnoxious? Right? Because culturally, we are very boisterous and boisterous. And when you see other cultures, especially as you go to the East, there is a lot to be said about societal norms that are not viewed the same here. So I'm not surprised whatsoever. And quite frankly, there are countries where there is no garbage on the ground. There is no, like, I believe it's Japan and Korea. They literally will hold the garbage and put it in their pockets until they get home to dispose of said garbage. Like there's so many different things that, the electric cars and how everything's in vending machines, and how you literally, we were talking about this last week, where you can scan your palm to pay for things, right? Remember you were talking about going into Amazon, into Whole Foods, and the guy doing the palm reading. You're like, whoa,
Right.
what's going on? I mean, we are light years behind in certain spaces as far as technology is concerned when you look at the East and how they're operating. And then there's other spaces and places that we are definitely leaps and bounds in front of, right? But I do believe there's a change of the avant-garde that's happening when we talk about first world countries. We in America have stood in this space of power for so long that the reality is that these countries that were up and coming, developing countries, are now contenders because they have been doing their due diligence and their homework. So yes, I'm not surprised whatsoever.
Well, a lot of these other countries, they just do things the right way. They don't have the problems that we have. They don't have problems with healthcare. They don't have problems with the yen or the euro like we have problems with the dollar. But it's just massively different. Like I said, when years ago, I took a trip to Dubai, and
it wasn't that long ago, Goose.
It was years ago.
It wasn't years ago. I remember.
Let's not argue over years.
It was like 2 years ago.
Well, plural. That's plural, right?
When you say years, it makes me feel like like a decade ago or something. You were just there, Goose. You were there a lot sooner than I was. That's for sure. You got me beat.
Okay. Anyways, it was clean there. It was so clean there. And you come back here to America, and it's like, oh my God.
But they have all these laws in place that, like, imagine if America were
and there's no crime there.
Right, because
there's no crime there at all.
Because the fear of punishment is so great that you don't want to be caught up in any nonsense. Like, listen, a lot of the content that we see that's pushed out into mainstream media of how these spaces are so opulent and just beautiful and stunning and all this, there is still poverty in these spaces. You just don't see it. They do not advertise it, right? But the truth is, it doesn't outweigh what can happen to you if you get caught. Things like, I saw there are laws about how your car has to be clean. You cannot be driving around with a dirty car. You cannot take photos of people or video of people without their permission. There's so many things that we do here. Like, now, if somebody gets hurt, the first thing people do is they pull out their phone and they start looking and filming instead of dialing 911. Instead of being a human and helping the person, I need to film this and catch this on film for whatever the reason is. You can't do that there. You'll go to prison.
Right.
Or if you default on a loan, that's wild business. They don't even have repoing.
That's one of the reasons why it is so pleasant when you go to those places, because they have laws in place. They just don't take any. Whereas here, one of the biggest differences, they'll be happy to send you to prison or to send you to jail, because guess what? It's on the stock market. It's money. Locking your ass up is money.
Isn't that wild business?
It's money.
That's wild business.
So, so in those countries, it's not all about that. But you do now. Years ago, how long ago was this? Maybe a couple of years ago, there was a story out. This female from Atlanta had rented a car or something to that extent. And when she returned the car back, I don't know if she returned it late or whatever it was, she was yelling at the person and
swearing,
and cursing them out and all of that. And they locked her up. And I don't know how long she stayed locked up, but when you're in foreign countries, people just don't act up because their laws are different. They will lock you up. And it's funny how most people, when they do travel, they do know that and they don't act up.
Yeah.
But they come here, back to the norm, because what there are repercussions, but at the same time, you're willing to take a risk because for the most part, you get a slap on the wrist. Whereas in other places, they don't play that. They don't play that.
No, absolutely. But also too, I think when we think about what that looks like, it's also the arrogance there's a certain level of arrogance that Americans have overall, right? This is a generalization that I'm making. And when they come into spaces, there's a feeling of superiority in places, in intelligence and in finance and things of that nature, right? This is how that whole culture of passport bros came into play, right? Where these guys are going into spaces where people are not economically on the same playing field, and these are beautiful.
It's not arrogance. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother subject we need to talk about.
But what I'm saying, but it's not about what I'm talking about.
That's freedom.
You call it what you want, but there is still a level of arrogance that comes into play, because this is why they're also getting set up and killed. Right? There's a certain level of arrogance. Again, I understand it's a topic level. I would love to go into this one day. Let's get a couple of the bros in here.
Because I'm a guy.
I know.
And off. I've been to places.
Yeah, but
I can tell the story about when me and my guys go.
Right, but is that your intention?
It has nothing to do with arrogance. It just, we getting away. We're breathing. We're doing the same thing with a girls' trip. When the ladies, they do their little trips too. What do? They get away. They breathe. They get drunk. Boom, 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 boom. Right? It's the same thing.
There's a whole industry for you all. There is not one for women. I'll wait.
There's a whole industry.
I'll wait.
You didn't catch that, but anyway.
No, I caught it. And I look
there's
here.
There's a whole industry.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But listen, but seriously, it's not arrogance. It's not arrogance at all, because to be arrogant is easy.
Oh, are you kidding?
To be arrogant is easy.
Let me ask a question. Just delusional.
And to be arrogant takes energy,
bro. If you could not pull her in the States, why do you think you're pulling her in Colombia? Why do you think you're pulling her in DR? Because your money is matching the game of the dude that would be matching the money here in the States, right?
Listen,
hold on, wait a minute. Wait, let me just get my thought out. Let me get my thought out, Goose.
Let
me get my
no. Listen. You know what? We do have to do a show on that.
Okay,
because
we got company.
We definitely got to do a show on that. But
we got company.
But here's the bottom line: when we do the trips and we get away, it is getting away from the everyday aggravation of whatever you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
So you're in a fantasy.
Some of that is dealing, if you're married, is dealing with your wife. It could be dealing with your girlfriend, and you just want to get away.
But then you're not passport broing it.
But I'm not even talking about you're talking about the passport broing it. I don't even call it that.
What do you call it?
I just call it getting away with the fellas.
It's just a vacation.
It's a vacation, getting away with the fellas, like we do. We go and we do our thing. We don't call ourselves passport bros.
Of course you're not. But of course you're not going to call yourself that. But if you can't pull that caliber in the States, you can't pull it in Colombia.
No.
The only reason you're pulling it in Colombia.
Wrong.
What?
First of all, the caliber is pulled here. The difference is the attitude in that caliber.
Okay.
That's the difference. We don't want that.
But Goose.
We don't want that.
But Goose.
Pretty face, messed up mind. We all set. Come and get don't get me started.
Goose,
don't get me started.
But Goose, here's the thing. Again, I'm not putting you.
We'll spend some time with you. We just won't bring you home.
But check this out, Goose. Again, I always say this on there.
We got to deal with the attitude.
Hold
what
on,
I'm saying?
Goose. Bring it down a notch.
My man's over here laughing because
bring it down a level, Goose.
No,
I'm not talking about you.
She's trying to make the fellas look bad.
I am, but it's not you. I'm not talking about you. I've rolled with your group. I rolled with your team. Your team is a different caliber. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm saying in general.
I know you're not talking about us. I'm just saying in general.
Most of these cats can't pull 10s, Goose. Cut it out.
That's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong.
Goose, please somebody call in.
Listen,
please somebody call in, because this is
it's
ridiculous.
the easy to me, right? It's the easiest thing for a man
to pull a 10,
to pull anybody. It's the easiest thing. It's all over the place.
Are you kidding me?
It's all over the place. Do you know how many single women are available right now?
My boy Chase said, "Great discussion over my hazelnut coffee this morning." Please continue, y'all. Listen, yo, Chase, don't do me no favors.
It's the easiest thing in the world, if you ask me.
To pull a 10.
Listen, I'm not even going to put a number on it. Okay, let's just say a beautiful person.
Oh yeah, because I love her. She got a great personality.
How many 10s do you know?
Honestly, I don't know many.
All right. So then,
but But when you go
out of 100 people, how many 10s are there?
Out of 100, if you
and what is a 10?
So a 10 to me would be someone. If I'm talking aesthetics.
Is Beyonce a 10?
For some people, yes.
Hell
some
yeah.
people no. But some people, yes. Some people no.
Okay, but her caliber is what we're talking about.
Yes, we're talking caliber.
So out of 100 people, how many 10s are there? You know what? I got to bring my guy in on the conversation, man. And then we're going to get into... First of all, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for my guy, Demark Davis. Indeed, the powerhouse trader. And you know what? There's that echo again. So let me... What did I do last time? What did I do last time?
So let me explain what's happening right now.
What did I do last time?
We moved to the penthouse.
Got you.
Sorry, folks. I got to fix this. What did I do last time? Do. 1 2 1 2. What did I do? Hold on, people. All right.
Oh, there you go.
1 2 1 2.
Ew.
That did it.
You
It is
figured it
fixed.
out.
All right. Can you? Is your mic on?
Nope. You got to turn them on.
There you go.
1 2.
There you go.
He's alive. He's alive.
All right. One more time. Give it up for Demark Davis, y'all.
Clap, clap, clap.
Powerhouse
Wait,
trader.
what's the clap?
We're going to get into some trading information because he's a powerhouse when it comes to that. Going to talk to him about a few other things, but I wanted to bring him in here because, you know, I don't even know how we got on this subject. You know, I talked about a trip and she got into,
wait a minute.
How many 10s can the guy pull? How many of them? They can't pull 10s. They can't pull 10s. How many out of 100 people? How many of them are 10s anyways? And what is a 10?
So when I think of
a 10 to me might not be a 10 to my man here. A 10 to me might not be a 10 to you, or a 10 to you might not even be a 10 to me.
Okay.
So what is a 10?
So let's kind of set a parameter here on what this would look like, right?
Okay.
So when you see there was a conversation with Benzino in a closet the other day. He was being interviewed, and the question was asked by Benzino, why are there no baddies in Boston?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you look at the average person, the average human, they're not really aesthetically attractive. They're average, right? Which means that they do not have something that would make you go, oh my God, like, and stop, right?
You're helping me prove my point.
Hold on. Just listen to what I'm saying. Now, when you go into other countries, aesthetically, because of the amount of mixing that happens culturally in these,
some of the most beautiful, the most beautifulest people in the world,
right? Very attractive looking human beings,
the most beautiful
show up because there's so much mixing of culture, whether it's with Portuguese or Spaniard, whatever. Colonization happens, and then you end up with these mixed people, right? And so when you add these different features from different places, it creates aesthetically pleasing looking people. Now, people can say, Goose, to your point, right? What's the standard of beauty? What are we talking about here? Are we going into a European? Because let me tell you, you can go into Africa and these women are as dark as that curtain behind you, are stunning. Stunning. It has nothing to do with color. So I want to be very clear about that, right? It's the aesthetics of the face or the body. Here in America, a lot of women, and I'm broad stroke painting this, and I'm probably going to get hate mail sent here. Please send it to Westgate Plaza, Boston Hyde Park, okay? Are overweight, do not take care of themselves. Like, I don't understand how you're 22, 23. See, hold on. I'm owning my stuff, right? You're 22, 23, right? And you've never had children, and you are struggling in the space that you're struggling in. I don't understand it, right? There are just certain things I don't understand. I come from a different era. I just come from a different time, right? So now, my idea of what a 10 would be is when you go to Colombia and you see these baddies that their body, whether it's plastic made or human made, 9 times out of 10, it's plastic made, right? But they take care of themselves. So the body's on point, the hair is done.
And they're 10s to you? The ones with the plastic?
Let's relax. Bring it down a notch. Look at you. You just want to
I'm telling you right now, every guy listening is like, stop it.
That's not what I'm saying on my line.
That's from a woman's perspective.
Well, no, we've had this conversation. We've had this conversation before about how you like them el natural.
I've always liked them natural,
but most do,
and I could tell something that's not natural.
Fair enough,
off the bat.
But a lot of guys, again, the fantasy versus what the reality is are operated differently, right? So the woman that you would reproduce, have a family with, build with, may not be a 10. She may be an average 5 or 6, but she's a solid woman. You know she's not going to rob you. You know she's not going to do you dirty. You know she's not going to disrespect you out in the streets. You know she's going to hold you down and do right by you. So you can go out into the world and do what you need to do, right? She's not bringing in drama. But that doesn't mean that that's who he wants to have on his arm when he's going out to the club. I'm just saying. And look,
that could be with anybody.
Your friend across the hall is smiling at me
listen,
because I think I'm on to something.
That's here.
So then,
It could be
but
anywhere.
when you go to these other places,
There are people here.
it's a fantasy.
There are people here you don't mind being with at a certain time or whatever, but you don't want them on your arm either. It's the same thing here. What's the difference?
Do say so more. What do you mean, kind
What's the
sir?
difference? There's no difference. But
No,
and
let
speaking
him
of
talk.
speaking of all that,
because he over here grinning.
speaking of all that,
Cheshire cat.
next Thursday,
R&B
relationships part 2.
Oh, boy.
We gonna do it again.
Oh, boy.
I don't think we're gonna go this deep because we want to get serious about some of the things that we complain about in relationships, not just men but also women. Some of their complaints. Relationships should be easy, but they're not. They're one of the most difficult things for everybody. So
people are toxic, dude.
Oh, it is.
On both sides.
I think
people are toxic.
I think this generation is probably the most toxic ever. And a lot of it has to do with social media.
A
lot of it has to do with social media. People see stuff on social media, TV, whatever, and it's like
you think it's they're emulating art?
It's not art.
No, but I'm saying, right? Art becomes emulation that then becomes life, right? Because it comes to life because you're emulating it. Do you think that it's because there's this emulation happening, or do you think it's just culturally this is what's acceptable now?
I think people are easily influenced and they follow trends.
Interesting. Okay.
That's what I think. I think people are very easily influenced. Like I could say it to someone, right?
Right.
and I'm telling the truth, right?
Okay.
They won't listen to me.
Yeah.
But then they hear it on TV. All of a sudden it's real. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways,
that's a very, before we switch gears, I still want to hear what your guest has to say about passport bros out in the streets. But also too, I do think it's interesting because what we're talking about here is also this generation now. When I say this generation, I think culturally, this social space is that instant gratification is something that plays out heavily. And everyone wants everything without hard work. And everyone wants, no one really actually honors the process of a relationship because it's all these degrees of, it's a situationship and there are no boundaries and there's no commitment and there's no dedication. There's no, right. Everyone's kind of free loving it without calling it that. And then upset because
don't confuse them now.
Because they're upset in their feelings because maybe they feel like, oh, well, I wouldn't know. Are we together? No. We mess with each other heavy? Yeah. Can I get mad at you for messing with him? Yeah. But is he my man? No. What are we doing here? Right? So there's this thing happening culturally. What do we got here? Relationships should be easy. I don't agree. True, authentic relationships have true ups and downs. But I think let's see what she says. I think the easy part should be communication, standing and supporting each other through their difficult times. That is from Kenisha online. You're right, Kenisha. I think so. I think she's correct about that. Kind sir, what do you have to say about this?
About the passport bros?
That part too, yes. I'm curious because you were grinning that whole conversation.
It's just hilarious because a lot of the times, well, if I was a passport bro, right? I know I can pull a certain level of a certain caliber female in the States. But then again, too, is it like, do you want an attachment? Do you want a commitment with these type of people that you're going to meet in these various countries? Sometimes you just want to have a good time, and a good time might just be, hey, trying to mess around with a few different females with no attachment, no strings attached to it.
I'm just here for a good time.
Not a long time.
Come back to your country.
Not a long
to
time,
your person,
but a good
right?
time.
To your modest person that you want to build with. Because at the end of the day, sometimes people get bored of each other. If you're not growing together, people grow apart. And sometimes you don't want to deal with certain things, so you fly away and seek some type of happiness, and then you come back home.
Okay, so that goes, man, we so got to have this conversation another day. We got to bring them back because that goes into the concept of, as a man, right? there's a standard
Mhm.
that says we look the other way, because in many other cultures, right? In our culture, you know, where my family comes from, you could have a man that has his main family and then have a whole nother family in another province.
Yeah.
You understand? And no one even knows that whole other family exists. And he
Right.
operates two families simultaneously. And this has been something culturally, you know, in the West Indian space, especially,
Yes.
that is very common. It's
Mhm.
not unheard of. And in Africa, same thing, very common. It's not unheard of, right?
Mhm.
There's this thing where if you have a high caliber man, the expectation is kind of like, am I going to mess my household up because he chose to do something? Am I going to do that? And this is a real conversation. And some women will straight up be like, oh, absolutely. I'm taking it to the cleaners. I'm not da 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 da.
Mhm.
But my thing is, if I've worked so hard and I've been holding it down for a whole decade with you, I don't think I'm walking away. I'm not walking away from what I've built.
Yeah.
Especially off some female you just met who's been around for 6 days.
See, that's the thing. Like,
I
you
don't
might
know.
be
That's
say-
me.
You might be saying that, but not every female can, stomach that. Because some females might be like, "What is it about me?" So they start like analyzing themselves and be like, "Okay, why is it that you have to go out?"
Oh,
to
I'm not
find
saying I
something
wouldn't
else?
sit there and analyze it.
Yeah, but would you still be okay with the man being like, "Okay, that's your main man," treating him the same way?
Well,
even though
you know, my
he's
biggest thing
stepping
is,
out?
this is my thing, right? I'm being totally honest and transparent, right? I don't, for example, I have someone I know that females go through this man's phone all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane, like crazy business, right?
Mhm.
I will never go through a man's
Listen.
phone. Hold on, Goose. I can never go through a man's phone because the reality of it is, one, I don't want to know what I'm going to find.
Okay.
And then two, if I find something, that means I have to act on it. And if I'm not going to act on it, then
Anyone
why
that
did you
wants
go
to go
look
through
for
my
it?
phone, you're out of here.
So let me ask you a question, right?
You're out of here.
What if something's going on, you just don't want to know about it?
No.
So you're fine with your man having
No,
another
my
woman
thing.
there?
No, my thing is, I don't want it. If I'm married,
Yeah.
I'm talking married. I'm not
Okay.
talking a boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking, I'm married. I'm in because marriage is a financial binding contract.
Okay,
Really, it's a business,
absolutely.
right? Really, realistically, it's a business.
Mhm.
We've gone into business together. We're an
Yep.
LLC together. Okay. That's what that certificate basically says. I expect that no one comes to my front door. No one disrespects me. No one's calling my phone.
Mhm.
No nonsense. And you operate the same way all the time. If you can operate the same way where you're showing up and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and there's no funny business, and you're not disappearing for days and out, what's the problem?
So you're good with your man?
I don't want to
stepping out
know.
That's
Okay.
not even a real relationship. But
But you know how many people? Why do you think back in the day, so many of these marriages lasted 40, 50
there?
years?
So is it because of the finances why you're sticking around and being so?
No, it's not that. It's if I don't have to, if I'm not knowing about it and I'm happy in my cocoon, in my little world, I wasn't born with your appendage.
Yeah.
I cannot control where your appendage goes. For me to sit here and think I can control another human being is insanity. I want to be happy. So do I want to be in a committed relationship with someone who doesn't cheat? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to have that. But the reality is something you said already off the rip, which was sometimes I need variety. Sometimes I get bored, but whatever that looks like, right? I don't want to know.
Gotcha.
I don't want to know, because if I know, now I'm accountable, and now I have to deal with it. And so for me, Goose is over here messing with the household appliances. Stop it, Goose. Stop it. You know, I just don't want to know. And if you're going to do it, you know, and I find out now we got a problem. So now if it becomes a public thing, let's say it becomes public farter, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Now you're going to have to be like the Mamba, and you're going to have to come with an 8-carat diamond ring to make things right, because I need to know that, you know, you fixed it.
So what would you do in that case? Would you be with just that one person, or do you still have desires to be with someone else as long as he doesn't know? What does that look like on the female side?
So I think, okay, so again, I'm going to get hate mail for this.
It's okay. We're
Right.
keeping it real, right?
I feel like, unfortunately, women can't do the same thing men can do.
Absolutely not.
Right? Because here's the problem with a woman, right? I carry a child.
Yep.
This is where we get into trouble, right? The trouble now becomes, how do I, let's say hypothetically, well, my husband went out and did it, so I'm going to go out and go do it myself, right? And I get pregnant.
Mhm.
But it's not my husband's child. So now I am involving a whole nother human being into my nonsense,
Mhm.
right? Whether it's faking that the child belongs to my husband and not telling my husband, but then some medical thing happens and this all hits the fan. So now there's huge issues, right? Or even just the lying to another human being at that level and that core, not even the husband, just your child, having them believe that this human being, this man is their father, and knowing darn well it wasn't because of choices and mistakes I made. Right. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so there's a lot more to lose on the side of a woman going outside of her relationship in a marriage or whatever that looks like than it for a man. Yes, can a man make another human being outside? He can. But guess what? It still stays 9 times out of 10 with the mother. Sometimes you'll have women that will knock the child out and put it at the front door and be like, this is your problem. And now you as the woman have to make the decision. Are you willing to raise somebody else's kid? Right. But the reality of it is women don't have the same playing field.
Right. And one thing I feel like females don't really consider when it comes on to like men going out and females going out is that a female loses value real quick. Once you move around, it's like, even if you feel like you have an ego and you're like, I'm going to get back at this person, you're losing a lot of value.
Talk more about that.
And let me say something real quick, because one of the things, that's an excellent point, man. Probably going to have you call up next week too.
For sure.
That's an excellent point. But
I want to, can you go
wait a minute. But so you just made me lost my train
I'm sorry,
of thought.
babes. Sorry about that. My bad.
So in terms of value, a woman's prime and a man's prime, night and day. Night and day. So, you know, like I said earlier, we're at a time where this generation is very, very, very toxic. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. You got so many young women, you know, they all about the bag. What can you do for me?
Yeah, pay a bill.
You know, and to the next man, what can you do for me? And they're doing all this in their prime, right? So they're messing around, fooling around. In the meantime, you're doing a lot of this to a person who's a very good person. Person might even love you from here to California, but you're messing it up. And at some point, you're gonna go past your prime, and you're gonna want to like finally get things together, and it's gonna be too late. That person's gonna be off doing something else. And I don't know what the ratio is when it comes to men and women, but I know there are a lot more single women out there than there are single men.
Last I heard it was 8 to 1. So I think you're right.
So just to finish up, you know, I think that a lot of the problems with relationships, and it is both sides, but with this generation specifically, these women, man, they're a problem. A lot of these women are a problem.
But you know, part of this also, you have to understand 2 things are going on, right? So for me personally, again, I'm a different generation. So for me, I really have a problem with people giving me things because I don't ever want it being thrown in my face. I cannot deal with you. Well, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have. Don't do that. Yeah. I'd rather build it, get it on my own, or not have it at all.
See, that's a young relationship to me.
No.
Listen
what I'm saying. It again, if I'm married, that is different. If my husband wants to gift me a car, my husband wants to gift me a nice bag, absolutely, I'm going to love it. I'm going to take it. I'm going to cherish it. Right. But I'm talking about dating. I'm talking about I'm not looking for a man to support my lifestyle. Right. Because when you do that, right, the currency then becomes, the expectation is, right, you got to pay that debt. Right. That's the first thing. The second thing is
it's the first of the month.
That part. Right. And then the second thing to that, though, is it's already uneven. It's an uneven playing field. Okay. The playing field is not even.
You pay your car note yet?
You're a mess. The playing field is not even. That's why that, like, the jokes that you see, the memes on TikTok about like these old uncle dudes with the Jerry curl and they're out of shape and they're just not, you know, you're just like, oh, right. And he's like, you want that iPhone, right, baby? Yeah. And he's all struggling up and saying, like, there are girls that absolutely will do this. Of course. Right. Again, I'm just like, yo, it's not work. Like, to me personally, it's not. But to other people, that's their hustle.
Absolutely. And one thing that Steve mentioned earlier is that a lot of females are chasing the bag. And then again, too, when you have money makes you handsome. Whatever, even if you're an ugly person and you have some money, some girl's gonna find you attractive, even if it's just for that moment or just for that bag that you have. But you're gonna get somebody.
And you know what else?
Social media. A lot of these females, they see this lifestyle and they don't want to settle with what they have or go chase that bag Like you said, you want to be independent. Nothing's wrong with being independent. But when you're trying to live over your means and trying to catch up with everybody on social media, that's where the problem comes in. Because one, you don't have a skill set, you don't have a career that can pay that much. So you look at the next best resort. Uncle Phil down the street that has a Jerry curl that's 65 and uses
Not Uncle
Viagra.
Phil.
Yeah, and he's gonna pay that rent. You probably need something for your child. You're probably a single mom, and it's a lot of different scenarios.
So online,
and there are so many beautiful women out there to be stuck on the one that says, "Well, I want this and I want that." Well, get your ass over there then.
So, you know,
on to the next.
But you know what's so crazy?
You know what I'm saying?
Can I also say this, right? So I am very blessed that my circle of female friends are high caliber women.
Right.
These are women. Yes, if we were going to go on the age bracket that you were speaking about, Goose, right? People would say that they've already passed their prime because they chose to focus on their careers and get to where they needed to be, right? So I'm talking like I've got girlfriends that are VPs of banks, and I've got girlfriends that are physician's assistants, right? These are stellar women, gorgeous women, right? No kids, never married.
Can I see?
Yeah, I'll show them to you, right? Beautiful, beautiful women, right? I'm thinking of two women right now, stunning, and cannot find a non-toxic man who and I'm not putting her business out there. I'm not gonna say names or anything like that.
Let me see. We don't have to put them on camera. Let me see. I want to see these two women.
I will show you because my camera's running right now. Right. So I'll show you. Right. Pretty women. One was dealing with a guy that faked. He had a twin brother, faked his identity, did all this just crazy nonsense for just trying to live this double life nonsense, right? And strung her along for years. Like it's wild business. Yeah. Some of the stuff. Another one heartbroken. He lied and she stayed with him because these women fell in love with the potential that they saw. Because
how old is this person?
Now they just turned 40. Okay. Right. So they're just turning 40 now.
So let me just say this. I believe that when you get a certain age, you should know better.
No, these things happened back when they were younger, but I'm saying they're never been married.
What's happening with them now?
Just they're not meeting guys that are of equal or at least of the same level of them. And so what's happening is they're just like, I don't know, Mel.
We need to get I can help them out. If they that good of a caliber of a person,
I promise you they are. I promise you they are.
But I got some questions I got to ask to really, make sure.
You know what I think too?
On air or off air?
It could be either way.
Go ahead.
Either way.
Go ahead. Ask questions. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, okay, like, how many kids do you have?
None. They have none. Both women. I'm thinking.
So you have no kids.
They have no kids and never been married.
When was the last time they've been in a relationship?
One was probably 3 or 4 years ago. Like she went through COVID with the last
3 or 4 years ago.
You went through like with the last guy through COVID. When
was the last time they've been on a date?
I don't know for sure. I don't want to lie and be like, oh, it was this amount or that amount. I don't know for sure. What I do know is neither one of them is crazy. I would say like, oh, they're a little tapped, neither one is crazy. But I do believe that when everybody else was out finding partners and getting married, they were working. They were going to school. Their focus was school, right? So they didn't line up with kind of that trajectory. So now they're pushed into a space where now they just turned 40. And still, they're open to wanting children. They're open to being married. They want to be in relationships. Both of them are very well educated. Both have amazing careers.
See, I would like to know a little bit more because they're 40 now. And you said they're stunning and all that. I just want to know more information because this is why I started the R&B relationships thing. Because there are a lot of single women. There are a lot of single men. And some of the issues have to do with understanding men.
Right.
A lot of women really don't understand men and we're we're simple creatures, right? We're very simple. I know I don't ask for a lot,
But in the end, to that, Steve, this is what I add to it. Like if these females are like, they have everything together, right? I strongly believe that you attract who you are, right? So what type of men are they trying to date? Are they dating up? Are they dating down? Are they trying to find somebody that matches everything that they have, all their qualifications? Because at the end of the day, if a successful female is going to date somebody that's, not as qualified as her, that's going to be an issue too. So her qualifications might be.
So that's fair. So we were in the LA. We were in LAX.
Yeah.
We were waiting for our flight to come home, and we were chatting and chopping it up by the gate or whatever. And so she said, and I have experienced this, right? Where the partner that I was with did not value education.
Yeah.
So when I got accepted into BU for a master's program, it was a problem, right? And so she was saying how in the past relationship that she had, and it was a long-term, these are long-term relationships they were in, right? That the individual did not understand why she was going to school the way she was. She's a physician's assistant now. So she's basically a doctor.
Right.
Okay. So for me, you know, it is hard when you're trying to balance this space if that person's not supportive or understanding because maybe they don't come from a culture that values education, right? Move that to the side for a second. When you ask the question, Steve, I'm thinking, right, of my best friend.
Okay.
My best friend, this is one of the people I'm speaking about. Because she is a big executive in a bank, she spends a good majority of her time going to galas and fundraisers because she sits on executive boards all over the place, right? So she's in these environments constantly. The problem is that now we're at an age group that a lot of people have already partnered up. So now they're already in a marriage.
So she's in the wrong spaces.
Right. I really think that's what's happening to her. But in fairness, it's like, how do you even figure out what the right space is? Because you're in these really high-end areas, but a lot of these men, I would say, if you're looking, probably 9 out of 10 of them are going to be married, right? Because these men have been with their either on their second marriage or whatever that looks like. They've got time in. They're not single and wanting to settle down. And then what happens too, also what's a weird thing that's happening in this age bracket too, is that guys are coming out of marriages and are not wanting to really get into a serious relationship again because he just came out of a marriage of 30 plus years. And he's like, whoa. Yeah, I do want to do that, but not yet. I just came out of this. Give me a second to flex my muscles, relax myself, and figure out who I am again. Right. And so this is kind of what's happening. Or you meet a guy who is 45, 50, never married and doesn't have kids. To me, that's a red flag. Red flag on the play. Okay. Why do you not have kids, at least one, or at least one serious long-term relationship? Even if you didn't get married, fine, but you had a long-term relationship, something's off.
So something's off with your friends too?
I disagree with that.
At 40, because a man's prime is different from a female's prime.
No,
so
for sure.
So your friends, they're 40 and they don't have kids, so that's a red flag too. But for a man, it's like, it depends on how valuable that man is. Apart from not having kids, what's his success like? What
do you think of someone like Andrew Tate?
I look up to Andrew Tate. I think he's successful. I think.
Do you think he's a high value man that he because right? I think he said he's on to like 12 kids now, something like that.
I think he's a high value man.
You think?
Yeah, and that's because but that's because of his achievements. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it might sound shallow, but your success determines who you are at a certain age as a man.
Fair enough.
You can be the best partner, the best lover, the best father. If you don't have no money, you're not as valuable to the marketplace. And nobody's looking at you like, hey, he's a great father. He's valuable. No.
But but can I say for me as a woman, I still would value, even if you're a blue collar guy and you're getting into a Ford F-150 and you get up every single day and you're up at 4 a.m. and you grind it every single day. I still think he stands up next to the guy that's making $1 million. And maybe that guy may be getting into a Bentley and not an F-150. But I feel that guy still has the exact same value system, the exact same track. You know what I me? Like, I want to be very clear about that piece, right? Absolutely. I don't want that people to think otherwise.
None of that really makes a difference. At the end of the day, who is the person inside? You know what I'm saying? Who is that person? Whether he gets in the F-150 or whether he, he's going to work on Wall Street or insurance guy, it really doesn't matter. If now if he's not working at all, he doesn't have a job, he doesn't have income.
That's different.
That's a problem.
That's different.
Right. That's a problem.
That's absolutely different.
I think the mistake a lot of women make is they prejudge who a person is
or their value.
And they're too picky about what they want.
And that's all modern women. Bro.
Yeah, they're too picky about what they want. So,
go a little bit deeper into that, Goose. What do you mean picky in what they want?
They're picky about what they want. Like, I had an example before we talked about on one of the shows where I talked about this guy. He's a garbage man, but he makes over $100,000 a year, which isn't a lot of money today anymore, but still $100,000 a year as a garbage man. But they don't want him to come home smelling like garbage.
it's a stigma.
That's what showers are for.
Right.
You know, so you miss out on that. You know, not only is he a garbage man, but what you didn't know is he's got massive investments.
Mhm.
You know, he owned about 3 or 4 multifamily buildings. You know, he got stocks. He gets dividends on that.
Mhm.
And he's into some of the new stuff,
Mhm.
which we got to get into because I'm looking at the time
Oh,
and
sorry.
we haven't
Sorry.
said anything about
Of why he's in this
about
building.
why he's even here.
I didn't,
And
sorry.
see, this is Mel's fault. You
It's a great
know, she
conversation,
wanted to get
man.
into relationships and all this other stuff.
Why
And
was
you
he
know,
thrown under the bus?
we're gonna save that for Thursday. R&B relationships.
You know why? Because he never
right
lets
here.
he never lets me come in the house.
Really?
Whenever he has company, he kicks me out and he's like, "Yo, you're not part of this conversation."
Yeah,
Go
we got
away."
we got to lock the
Well, it's a
doors and
great day
everything,
today.
man. She can't come in. When
I'm
we
never
talk
I'm never
about
allowed.
relationships.
I'm never allowed.
She's
in
not
the
allowed.
We got to
She's
do
not
this
allowed.
again.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. We'll talk. And matter of fact, maybe I have you come on. But yeah, and just to wrap that up, you know, everybody wants to be in a relationship. I don't care. Anyone who says I don't need no man, you're lying.
Well, until
And if
until
a
it's
guy
time to
says he
shovel
doesn't need a
snow.
woman, he's lying.
and until it's time to shovel snow, or you got a flat tire and you got to figure that out. I'm just
You
saying.
know, so but I think people have to look in the mirror at themselves when it comes to relationships, because especially at the age we're at now, we're not in our 20s anymore. You know what I mean? You're not that young buck, you know, when we was all out there playing the game and having fun and didn't know what we were really doing. We was just young and having fun. But as you get older now, you better get it together, because some of the stuff that's coming that folks are ignoring and we'll get into that too with the AI, the blockchain technology. A lot of these jobs are going away, and you know, if two heads are better than one. Okay, so if you got you a nice partner, fix it.
But listen, I'm at
Fix
let
it,
me tell you, me
because
personally,
2 heads are better than one. You can start your own little thing, and if you got assets, you should be fine. But
look, can I just say this and we'll leave it alone and we'll go on? I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm 10 toes down, chest out when I say this. I got one good last relationship in me. One. I got one. And I'm telling you right now, if I get married, all I'm going to tell you is you don't like me, that's okay. Go in the other room, take a Tylenol. We're going to try again tomorrow. There is no divorce. There's no plan B. There's no nothing. That is it.
I'm going to say one last thing.
One of us is going to put the other one in the ground.
I'm going to say one last thing, and I just want folks to join us next Thursday on relationships, right? Women, you got to tone it down. You got to tone it. No man wants toxicity. We don't want this. We don't want. We don't want that. We don't want that. We want ladies, right? And we understand that the women want men. But for the most part, you know, there's a lot of y'all available. There's a lot of choices for men, not very many for women. So you find you a man, just tone it down with because, you know, I can't speak for everybody, but I can say a majority of us, we don't want to deal with the attitude. Like, tone it down, lady. All right, well, then go over there. We good. Hey, beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm being honest.
But also off of what you just said, I think is really important too, right? Is that you said that there's a plethora of choices. And so then what ends up happening is sometimes the eyes get bigger than the amount of hands that you have. And this is where it starts becoming convoluted. And this is where it starts becoming toxic, because you'll have very undefined boundaries and relationships and situationships happening. And so you end up in these situations where, yes, you have a high caliber man, but because boundaries have not really been solidified and understandings have not been put into place, now you got 4 different toxic women coming at you, all, you know, trying to damage your property, get a hold of you, and you know, whatever else is going on. So again, you ask the question, it's both sides.
I got to tell you this though,
it's both sides, Goose.
It's both sides, but again, but in 2025, yo, ladies, you got to tone it down. You got to
That's
tone
all
it
right. The
down.
Anunnaki are coming
You gotta
anyways in a
get
couple
back-
of months, so don't worry.
Get back into wearing your nice dresses and your high. Become that lady. Turn back into a lady.
No, you know what's crazy? You
We
say
don't
that,
want the rah, 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 rah,
it's,
rah. Come on.
It's true. You know,
Stop that.
females don't even walk like they used to. Do you know that? I was like, so I love wearing heels. I love
it's
like
11:25.
I love wearing heels and all this, right? And I tell you, I like a lot of females have taken on a lot of masculine traits, and the female of today, yes, I think it's dope that you can do all these different things or whatever, but stay in your feminine energy. A lot of them are really operating in masculine energy. And you know, it's not all, but a good amount of women do. And so when you're operating in this masculine energy and you're behaving in these masculine ways, you come off very masculine. And there's nothing about that allows a man to step in, and if he is a true man, to do what he's supposed to do, because you're too busy saying I could do it myself. But at the same time, you look at situations. How many times have you seen on online, Goose, where a female's pumping the gas and the dude's sitting in the driver's seat? Make it make sense.
Right.
Like my dad, one of the things I love about my dad, which I think is one of the most beautiful things about my parents, and they've been married now over 30, like since 1989, they've been married. My parents.
And we're gonna end it
we'll end it
after
here.
this.
My dad, to this day, every time he is in the car or near a car with my mother, my father opens her door. Every time. Like, it's not like, oh, I forgot or I wasn't thinking. No.
Yeah.
Every single time. My mom, she travels a lot for work. Every time my father picks my mom up from the airport, he meets her with flowers. Like, there's just something about that. So, you know what I mean? And so, again, is my dad a perfect? No, he's a man. Of course, my dad and my mom, you know what I mean? They're human, of course. But there's certain things about chivalry that causes you to have to step back and say, okay, hold on. What am I doing?
Right.
But Goose was correct. There's something about this generation. They're a little special.
No doubt.
They're a little special.
All right.
Special.
So my guy Demark, who's in the studio, I introduced him earlier as the powerhouse trader. And if you are into trading, he's definitely, I don't know if you got some secrets you want to tell folks, but first of all, explain to people what trading is.
So I'm a full-time day trader, right? And I'm on the markets every day. So what I started off trading is Forex, so it's foreign exchange.
And what is Forex?
Foreign exchange. So a lot of people might go to Western Union and send some money, and it sends to a different country, and they have to change it in that currency. So we're basically speculating on like the rates, right? For example, if the US is buying something from London, they have to send that US dollar to London and change it to the Great British Pound. So we're speculating on that change. So it's just foreign exchange, right? In layman's term.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Forex,
Yeah.
foreign exchange.
Yeah.
Okay, simple. Very simple. Okay. So you trade stocks or are you doing both stocks and crypto?
So I started off trading Forex, right? And now
Yep.
I trade a stock market index called US 30s. It's just the Dow Jones Industrial.
Okay.
Yeah.
How easy is that for someone to get into? If someone wanted to, because there's some folks, I know you're killing it.
Yeah.
You're definitely killing it because first of all, you still got your real estate license?
I still do, but I don't use it.
Okay, you gave it up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. He started out working with me,
Yeah.
by the way, doing real estate, but he's making so much money doing Forex and other things, right? he don't need it no more. But that's the amount of money, how much folks can make. How easy is it for someone to learn how to do it?
Right.
If
So
you know absolutely nothing about it.
for sure. So the barrier of entry is very low because with Forex, you can start off with a couple $100s, right? Just to get in the game. But the education part of it is where you really have to put in the time and the effort. So a beginner, they can learn how to trade because it's a skill set, right? But then you have to experience the market yourself, the psychology. You got to go through that yourself. Now, that journey
True.
from you going into the market and being able to make money consistently will not happen overnight, right? It might not take a year or two. It might take 5 years. But then again, with the right mentorship, right, with the person that's doing it and they're holding your hand and guiding you, then that process can be like shortened. Yeah.
What's the most amount you made in a day?
So great question. The most amount I've ever made.
You can give me an estimate.
in one day. School 45K.
Okay.
That's like me at the casino.
Right. No, there's money into it, folks.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of it, but I do a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And I actually, what year was that? 2-3 years ago. I think it's about 3, maybe going on 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I decided to learn how to trade because just looking at the markets and the technology and where things were going, I was like, you know what? Things get bad, I could just do this.
Yeah.
So I went and got a certificate. I don't do it a lot.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily need to, but it's definitely something. A lot of people do it without training.
Mhm.
And I look at that as gambling. What are your thoughts on that? Because a lot of people, it's kind of hit and miss with them.
Right. So the thing with trading is that the market goes two ways. It either goes up or down. So you can be right at least once, right?
Mhm.
But the thing is, you have to be able to make money consistently, because that's why I got into trading.
Yep.
I wanted to make money, right? But I quickly learned that you can't, the same way we did real estate, where we can do creative deals and we can go get the deals.
Right.
We have to allow the markets to show us what it wants to do, because we don't move the markets, right? So we have to make sure that we understand how the market works, and then we trade in line, so that even when we lose, because you are going to take losses in the market,
Mhm.
but overall at the end of the week or the end of the month, you can come out on the green side, right?
Right.
Being profitable.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, actually, let me play a quick clip here.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Oh, what the heck? What? I lost $20,000.
Yo, it just doubled. Man, why don't you tell me how easy this was, man?
Are you serious? That's impossible.
Whoa, bro, your don't look good.
Mine is fine, okay?
No, it is not. It's tanking. Bro, that is not good.
According to my technical analysis, this is going to go up very soon, okay?
Bro, I'd cash out if I were you. Cut your losses.
Don's right, I better sell. Wait a minute.
Dude, it's flying up, bro. Oh, no, hey, looks like you do know what you're doing. It is going back up. It is skyrocketing. Bro, good thing you didn't sell. Mine just tripled. B, mine just tripled. Dude, $6,000. $6,000. I'm cashing out. It just tripled.
I lost 20,000. Oh.
All right. So that's real.
Yeah.
That happens.
That's real.
Now he lost 20,000, I believe, because he sold,
Mhm.
right? One of the things that I live by that a lot of people don't do,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you do, but you use stop losses.
Yeah, you have to.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
okay,
remember-
cool.
remember.
So it's not just me, but
No.
a lot of people that get into it that might win here and there, they don't use them.
No, you have to, because
Yeah.
one thing I tell everybody, right, and even like some of my students, the only thing that you can control in the market is how much you're willing to risk.
Right.
That's the only thing, where you put your stop loss, right?
Mhm.
You can't control where the market goes. No, you can, based on statistical data, you can analyze the market and see where the direction that it's looking to go, based on like how you qualify certain things, technical analysis. But you can't determine if it's going to go there, when it's going to go there, or whatever. It's all probabilities.
Right.
But you're only willing to risk $100, then that's it.
Right.
So your stop loss is very much important.
And one of the things I love about it, right?
Yeah.
Like I can lose 5 times.
Yeah.
Right. And someone might say, man, you haven't hit yet.
Yep.
But I could lose 5 times and then hit on that 6.
Yep. It's
And
risk management.
and it's massive.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
the 5 that I lost don't matter.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? All because I used the stop losses. I lowered the risk.
Mhm.
You know? So yeah, so anybody that wants to learn, what like you talked about, do you do research prior to?
So what I do, like my process with trading, right? I analyze the chart like pre-market, and I look for certain trends, etc.
Right.
But then in terms of like fundamental research, I'm not a big fundamental guy. I
Right.
look strictly at price action.
Mhm.
So the one thing I don't do is like trade when you have some economic data, like the news is going on. But after that, it's just me looking at the charts, the higher time frames, and then I look for a setup and enter on my lower time frames.
and I'm sure you pay attention to Jerome Powell.
No,
What? No, you don't?
No.
Oh, okay.
because
Okay.
this is the thing, Steve. When it comes down to trading, you can trade as a fundamental trader, or you can trade as a technical analyst, right?
Mhm.
Can you go deeper into that, please?
For sure. So a lot of people trade based on like data in terms of like the news, what's going on in different countries, the economies, what the government's talking about, etc. So those are more fundamental traders. For myself, I look at price action, what the charts are telling me, what the candlesticks are saying, because the past data will tell you what the future is supposedly going to do, right? And they have a saying that the market doesn't repeat itself, but it sure rhymes. So in 2002, you might have Steve, but then in 2015, here comes Eve, and then Cleve. So it's not the same thing, but you have certain levels where the big boys trade from. And when I say the big boys, I'm talking about the large institutions, the governments, the hedge funds. They move the markets, and us,
Warren Buffett.
Right, we're just retail traders. So if we can't move the markets and we can see where the big boys are moving, then we can analyze and see where they're showing us clues to get in. Because remember, I use this analogy all the time in terms of like the shark and the remora, right? In the ocean, the remora doesn't really hunt. It piggybacks off the shark, and the shark kills a meal, maybe a seal or something, and those scraps that the remora get, those are like 10K days, 50K days. But even those are large amounts, they're moving trillions of dollars in the market every day.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you just need to piggyback off those. So I need to see what's going on from a technical point of view, and then I make my decisions based on that.
Gotcha.
No, sorry, not to cut you, but for example, someone might come and say, "Hey, Steve, go buy this asset," right? And you're like, "Okay, why should I buy it?" Then they'll say, "I heard that this is going on. The company's doing this, etc." If it's like a stock, right? They'll say the company's doing this. They're about to do that. Earnings is this, etc., etc. And you buy, right, in hopes of the asset appreciating. But then the asset depreciates. Now you're confused as to why based on the positive data, right? Now, if you look at the chart, you might not see that data being in alignment with that information. Now, if you don't understand that on the chart, then you're doing yourself a disservice because you're losing your money and you're depending based on some fundamental things. So the technical analysis is where you really need to understand. And price action, which is the candlestick showing you the data, that's the king. That's the leading indicator in the markets.
Yeah, and the candlesticks is just one of the basic things. If you're trying to learn how to trade, you got to learn the candlesticks.
You need to know that because that's the data right there.
Right.
That tells you what buyers and sellers are doing real time.
But you even see that not only just in that space, but you're going to see that also in the crypto space.
Oh, no doubt.
It's with anything.
It's universal when we're talking about investment.
No doubt.
Right. With technical analysis, I can trade any asset right now, whether it's crypto, stocks, commodities, forex, anything, because it's the same principle. The only difference is that certain assets have different characteristics that you have to study, maybe a time frame difference in terms of when a candlestick closes, etc. But it's the same chart work.
Right.
Once you understand technical analysis, you can trade anything that has a chart.
You're right. It's the same chart work. Not chart work. Now, for me, I rather do the crypto because I'm so familiar with it.
Yeah.
And I'm so familiar with a lot of the different cryptocurrencies.
Yes.
So, it's easy for me to do some research and find out who their partnerships are, what's going on. And because blockchain is a new technology, a lot of the infrastructure is being built. It's a lot of positive things happening with different cryptos right now.
Right.
So for me, it's a little easier to trade right now.
And you know what that does too?
Yeah.
With your information that you're getting in terms of like with the blockchain and all those positive things, those will add volatility to that coin. For example, if Bitcoin is looking to go long or go up, right? Based on certain levels, now those positive information with a correlation together will cause a massive move. But that's not the only determining factor for the asset to go up, even though it's positive information. Because one thing I realized too, for example, like I use this example where somebody might come and say, this company is doing this, like Elon Musk says XYZ, and Tesla is supposed to go up. Right. And then you have a massive short or a massive drop. But the thing is that the data by itself doesn't really hold as much weight as what the technicals are showing you.
Right. Right. Yeah. I lost when Trump came out with his.
The meme coin?
Huh?
The meme coin?
Yeah, the meme coin. I lost on that. Yeah. And I don't do meme coins.
Yeah.
But for some reason,
you knew that was going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
That's right up there with the sneakers.
I do not do meme coins, but for some reason that was moving so fast. I just jumped in too late, which I tell everybody to never do. Yeah. And I ended up doing it and I lost on it.
Yeah. And that's cool.
Which cool. I wasn't mad at it. It wasn't a whole lot of money I lost anyways, but it was a loss. But people made some money on that.
Absolutely.
People made a lot of money on that. And then it crashed down and it hasn't gone back up since. Yeah, I don't know where it's at now.
It was last time I checked, it was a little under north of $10.
Yeah, $8-10 was
But
the last.
originally it peaked at 72,
70 something.
73.
Yeah.
I think it peaked there. And
Man, I missed that one.
And that literally went from start to finish of that high peak. It was less than 72 hours.
Yeah.
It was less than 72.
Right.
Um,
It all happened quick.
oh,
and
absolutely.
Then it shot.
back down.
That's what they call a rug pull.
Yeah,
He definitely pulled the rug on that one.
absolutely.
and then stood there. I don't know. I don't know what it's doing right now. Yeah.
And you know what I tell a lot of my students too, that meme coins can really pop off and make you a lot of money instantly, right?
Mhm.
But you see, when you understand the skill set of trading, you can go in the markets every day. Not saying you're going to win every day, but at least you know what you're looking for. A meme coin is like a pump and dump, right?
Yep.
But you have regular assets that have been around for centuries,
Mhm.
right? That you can go in, make some money off of consistently, whether you choose one asset or a group of assets, and you can do this for the rest of your life. And you have
Right.
the skill set that's transferable, where you can pass it on to your kids, your loved ones, etc., versus just waiting for the next best hype. You know what I mean? You can have consistently with assets that you know that are extremely strong and they're backed by statistics,
Right.
and you can go in there and make some money.
Yeah. A
You
lot of
know?
money. A lot of
Yeah.
money to be made, and folks are making a lot of money. So what would you recommend for, so Mel doesn't trade, but
Yeah.
if Mel decided she wants to do that, what are the steps she needs to take to begin trading?
Absolutely. The very first thing I would say is to get a mentor.
Mhm.
And right now we have a phenomenal mentorship. It's called the Day Trading Warrior.
Yep.
And it's for beginners, intermediate traders, or even professionals.
Mhm.
I've taught a trader that he's been trading for 11 years, right? Before I went in the game.
Mhm.
And in 2 weeks, I changed everything that he was looking at, how he was looking at the market, and he became profitable.
Mhm.
And that was one of the toughest students that I had, because he had so many years of failing. It's like, what's going to make the difference with you now?
Yeah.
First of all, you just got in the game probably like 6 years ago. And when I break down everything, he's like my advocate right now for for California and everywhere else, right?
Right.
He's over there just like pumping it like, yo, this is the right person. And everyone that comes on board, I immediately get a testimonial within a few days or a week's time, because it's so beginner friendly, where I hold your hand. Like, with all the fluff and everything with trading is already intimidating.
Mhm.
And if you don't know what you're looking at, you'll be like, you know what, this isn't for me. But when you get beyond all the hype and all the unnecessary data, you'll see that these are just candlesticks, and it's all human psychology. Same way we're here talking right now. The market is just the market is just a marketplace for buyers and sellers that are actively selling or buying an asset.
Right. It's not hard.
know?
You just got to do the work.
It's not hard. But when you understand what's going on,
Right.
then you already have an edge. And the edge is the main thing that you need to have. And then you work on your mindset and everything else. Because if you don't have even if you don't have a high win rate, or your strategy isn't like a 90% win rate, you don't need that.
Right.
You can have a 50% strategy, a 55% strategy that works. But then again, like you mentioned, it's your risk management. If you're risking 1 unit of something, then the upside should be at minimum, I recommend 3 units. So you can lose 2 times. And then that third time that you win, you outweigh those losses,
Right.
and you put yourself in profit.
Right.
If you only look for those high probability setups, then you'll be profitable. So even when you lose, you win. I don't see too many other career choices where even when you lose, you win. If you lose, you just lose. You know what I mean? But
Right.
with trading, it's positioned in a way, once you have the right knowledge, that you are going to lose, but you're losing forward, or you're failing forward.
Mhm.
Because it's, like I said, it's probability. You're not coming in the market making money every day. Some days you're going to lose. But even if I lose
And you're
10
limiting
grand,
your losses.
right? If I lose 10 grand today, then probably by the end of the week, I'm up 50. So
Mhm.
what's 10 grand? It's like a charge to the game.
Mhm.
But if you're consistently losing 10 to make 2, it
So,
doesn't make
let me
sense.
ask you a question. Do you know anything about stats when you're doing all this, right? So what I'm hearing is, would you be comfortable to say that you're probably operating in the space of like at least 2 standard deviations away from the mean? Is that your goal? Like if the mean is coming in at the base, you want to be at least 2, right? So we're in the, what that would probably put us in the 30-40% on the top tail of like if you had a 2-tailed
Around.
graph, right?
Yeah, around.
So are you operating in that space? Is that what I'm
Around,
hearing? I
and
want to make sure I'm
sometimes higher.
understanding.
Yeah, around that, and sometimes higher, because it depends on the opportunity.
Okay, fair enough.
So sometimes you might be in the market, and let's say we're looking at a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio, where I'm risking $10 to make 30. Another day you might see that's a 1 to 20. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's different. And then sometimes you might get an entry that you lose that trade, and it's not because the trade isn't like a high probability trade. It's just that certain criteria in the market is taking you out. But that doesn't like mess it with like your strike rate because it's still the same analysis. So sometimes you lose, but you're still in the right direction.
Sure.
So you have to enter 2 times. So sometimes that might mess with like the amount of trades that you take. That would kind of mess with like your win rate or your strategy's win rate. But overall, like it's just profitability. So even your standard deviation might be a little bit on the higher side.
Fair enough. Because right, so Goose is correct. I don't know anything about this
Yes.
arena, but I have done an extensive amount of research in my due diligence within crypto.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel fairly confident that I can go toe to toe with anybody in a conversation pertaining to crypto.
Absolutely.
I do believe that this is the new market.
Yes.
Right. I believe that the stock market, as we know, it's going to be tokenized. I think all these things are going. It's just a matter of time, right? I was saying to Goose off air earlier today that down on Wall Street in New York by the Bull, there's all these advertisements for Ripple and all this sort of stuff, right? So we're definitely heading in this direction, right? Do you think that the market in which will become obsolete once crypto comes into play the way we're foreseeing it happening, or do you think that this is still going to be a place of money play that can still be profitable?
I said it's the same thing because
it's not going obsolete.
It's the same charting. when you pull up Bitcoin, it's the same candlesticks you're looking at.
Sure.
Same structure. So it's just a different asset.
It's just liquidated differently.
It's just different, right? Different characteristics in terms of like the fundamentals. But when you look at the charts, I have a student that only trade cryptos, and I had to trade crypto just to show him, because one thing I show my students that if I'm talking something, I have to be able to do it.
Sure.
And I'm trading Bitcoin, showing them it's the same price action. The only difference might be like with a time. If for example, a 4-hour candle, right? And just follow me on this one. A 4-hour candle might close at 10 o'clock on a regular stock market asset. On a crypto, it might close at 11 o'clock. So those are the only like discrepancies. But
also it runs 365/24.
Right.
That's also the big difference.
Yeah,
too,
it's like you can take a trade at any time.
Yeah.
But there are certain time frames where you're looking for either like a pullback or a setup or like price of probably consolidate or something. But it's just the same structure.
Sure.
So nothing's different. So the market's going to be the same. Whether you're trading crypto, if they come with something else that is the next best thing and it's on a chart, you can trade it. It's the same structure, technical analysis. You can analyze anything at all. Yeah.
That's fair. Goose.
All right. Yeah, I don't think it's definitely not going obsolete, especially with the tokenization of everything, pretty much all assets. Everything's going to be tokenized. The stock market will be 24 hours soon. That stuff's not going to change. But what else? So what else you doing, man? I know you went from real estate to you still got the trucking company?
So I had a truck. I sold the trucks.
Okay.
I just tried, because the thing I wanted to diversify my income, man. I was doing very good with real estate. And then sometimes I was like, you know what? Let me diversify, because I came from humble beginnings, right?
All right.
I was like, I have some money. Let me put it into
Tin
this.
roofs and dirt roads.
Listen, I get it.
The
ghetto.
I
Right?
get it.
But then it's like I didn't want to like lose the wealth that I've like built up. So I just tried investing in different things. Trucking wasn't really my lane, even though it was lucrative. It made a lot of money, but I was dealing with different personalities with drivers. I couldn't personally drive the trucks,
right?
And I don't like people having control over me,
right? And that's okay, man, because you get, that's the process of trying to find your way. You tried the trucking thing, you made some money at it, but it really wasn't for you. You know what I mean? Now you did the restaurant thing too, or no? Yeah.
So the restaurant, I got scammed on that, man. I got scammed like $500,000 on that.
Oh man,
yeah,
wow.
That was a major scam.
Can you talk more about that, or is that too painful?
That's cool. I mean, I talk about
talk about that.
Can you talk about that?
Because we always talk about the scammers are like they work full time.
Yeah, full time, man.
Full time, man.
So the thing is, people watch you, right? And especially when it's like we're talking about West Indians, like these people are West Indians, and they saw like my journey, because I used to stop by there when I had my ex-girl's old 2002 Corolla, right? That I used to park across the street and then walk to my showings, because as a new real estate agent, if I'm telling you to buy a house, how come I don't have a house? Right. So I have to fake that part real good. So they used to see me stop by there, etc. And then they saw me like leveling up, basically. Right. Started buying properties for myself, flipping properties. So they're watching your pockets too, and they're like, okay, you know what? Maybe this person would want to invest, because they know the journey. Then they brought the opportunity to me of like purchasing one restaurant. They had everything like documented, tax returns, which are all fake. They had other people on their
Stop.
teams. Yeah, like Caucasian professionals.
You had an attorney?
Yeah, of course. That's why I did it.
Yeah.
I had an attorney. They had an
Wow.
attorney, but it was all fake. And the sad part about it is that, long story short, I realized that I got scammed a little bit late, but I had to get scammed. You know why? I look at it this way, where God is using me
Mhm.
to kind of take me to the next level. Because when I realized I got scammed, I was starting to fight this whole thing, and I got to realize that they did this to about 100 people already
Wow.
for years.
Mm.
So if they didn't scam me, nobody would have known about it. And the moment I started taking it to the next level, that's where it became this major thing, this major Fed case,
Mm.
right? And now other people are getting highlighted. But then within that scamming moment, it caused me to really just dig deep and realize that I am the value. Even though I had $500,000, not too many people have $500,000 just to lose.
And,
But-
and that was liquidated cash.
Yeah, that was all cash.
Jeez.
But
And you had to learn the lesson.
I had to learn the lesson.
That's the
But,
key
but the real thing
right
is
there.
that without the money, who are you? You know what I mean? I created the money. The money didn't create me.
sure.
So I feel like God was just pulling me back. And I call this my slingshot moment, where God pulls you back so far where you think that you're actually
That could have
like,
destroyed you.
like you're losing.
Mhm.
But when he lets you go, you're actually going way ahead than where you were before. Because I'm way ahead than that. That moment didn't do nothing to me, then just leveled me up.
But let's be very clear about this. Let's stop here for a second. I think there's truth in that statement, but I'd like to add the "and" part, which is you chose to get back up.
True.
Many people could have easily taken that blow and been like, I give up on life. I give
True,
up on
True.
everything.
And I wanted to, not to try to front. I wanted to. At one point, I thought I would have lost my mind. Because it's like, how do I get rid of this pain? I can't go to someone and say, yo, I just lost $500,000. Even the police was like, where did you get $500,000? So it's like a conversation that you can't really go have. Nobody's going to show you that.
Especially the wrong color.
Exactly. They're going to be like, first of all, where did you get this cash from? So you have to keep that within. But I realized that as a man, it's like we are scared to show our emotions. I couldn't even cry.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
And you still doing real estate, of course.
At that time, I was still doing like a little bit of real estate because I had a lot of cash. I had the trucks. I sold the trucks. I have a fitness app. I was starting a supplement company. So I was good.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when someone, and to me, I pride myself as being like a sharp person. So when I couldn't really figure out like what went wrong, how couldn't I see these red flags? But they orchestrated everything so well where
Mhm.
I couldn't even see it. Every check I gave, I went to the bank. We got it notarized. You know what I mean?
Right.
I had my lawyer talking to their lawyer. And so funny, my initial lawyer, she passed away throughout this whole thing. So it's like, damn, what am I going to do?
Wow.
Wow.
You know?
Jeez.
So it's like the perfect storm.
The perfect storm. But toward the storm, there will always come the sunshine.
So
You know?
were you ever at least vindicated as far as maybe not getting the money back, but there being justice in the situation, or was
So
it
it's still
chopped
an
up to the
ongoing,
game?
it's still an ongoing process. But for me, it was always just a lesson that I look at it like, okay, this is gonna take me to the next level. If I lost 500 grand, what's on the flip side to that? I truly believe in like God and the universe and everything. So to every negative, there's a positive.
Sure.
If my 500K loss right now is meant to happen, I know the flip side to this is gonna be crazy. So I
Right.
started switching the way I looked at the situation.
Mm.
I was like, God, okay, if I'm losing this 500K right now, you must got 500 mil for me coming. You know what I mean? But I had to walk in line with the person that I was supposed to be. The thing too is like I attracted that situation. And it might sound like crazy. Like, why would you want to attract certain situations to you that's going to harm you?
Mhm.
It's like my thinking at the time, even though I had so much money at that particular
Do you think
time,
it was arrogance?
it wasn't. I wasn't used to that amount of money. So I was still thinking in lack and scarcity.
I
Yeah, so
get it.
it was a new experience. And in new experiences, you don't recognize certain things.
Yeah.
And and just listening to you, me personally, I would have recognized that.
Yeah.
I feel like because
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of it before. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
You know, I can feel bad energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but that'll never happen to you again.
No, never.
You know,
This
it'll
is
never
like-
happen to you again. And the 500 grand, you can make it back.
But that's the thing, though. I'm past that. But this is
Right.
the thing where it's like sometimes we might see some red flags, but we kind of say, you know what, that maybe it's off off blue or something. We kind
Right.
of because you want the opportunity
you know
to
what
work.
you know what I refer
you know?
that you know how I refer to that
Yeah.
is I'll say to people, yeah, I collect red flags and I tie them together and make it into a scarf.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, because you are operating in the belief system, you believe and want it so badly
Yeah.
that things that are absolutely red flags you can justify in your mind to be something different,
Yeah.
or as you said, off blue,
Right.
because the idea of it being so backwards just deflates this whole dream.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's heartbreaking. You know, I think also too, we talk about this online all the time here, which is our community is never taught to respect money.
Right.
And we're not taught how to grow money.
Mhm.
And we're not taught how to actively participate in the construction
Mhm.
of our money. Right. And so for me, hearing you say, as a young man coming into a space, having the opportunity of that kind of money at your disposal, a lot of young brothers will be out there getting $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 cars,
Right.
and you got multiple cars, and you're out
Right.
here wearing gold chains that, you know, whatever, $100,000 worth of gold chains.
Right.
And one of the things I've said on air before with Goose is that I have been around multimillionaires from the work I do, right? Many of them in a
Yeah.
room. None of them. It's the shoes and the watch.
Yeah.
I will know immediately
I agree.
who you are, what you are,
Yeah.
and what that means, right? And what's crazy is that hearing your story, there's no way that a young person off the conversation from earlier, a young lady could be able to finesse you for a Gucci bag because you already see it a mile away.
I would have to like her. And
but I'm
you
just
know,
saying,
yeah.
but I'm saying you would see it a mile away
Yeah.
because there's a humbling.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think if I was to look at that scenario of what you're saying, and if we're going to take the guise of what you're saying is it was a coming to Jesus moment,
right.
quote unquote,
Right.
that the humbling that happened through that process is what has allowed you to catapult into a stratosphere much greater than that. Because now you respect money a bit differently.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you though, when was the 500 in escrow, or was that the final payment? What was the total cost for the restaurant?
So it was one restaurant at first, right?
Yeah.
And it was such a unique opportunity because
and where was it?
The thing is, one was in Dorchester. Well, one is in Dorchester, one is in Hyde Park, one's in Brockton, right? I can't call the name.
So it was 3 restaurants.
3 restaurants. So
for 500,000.
So how they packaged it, Steve, is like at first they were saying that, okay, my father wanted to sell me this business, but it's not going to be public, so I want you to be a partner. You know what I mean? Because my father isn't selling it to anyone else, so we can go 50-50. But with the sale of the restaurant, then you have to think about, well, how they presented it. You need inventory. You need this. You got to take over the lease. I own this building. We got to do this.
And you looked at the places?
I walked through. I saw the chefs. I ate there. It was so crazy, Steve. Like, to me, it was like, how didn't I see? Like, it was hard for me to see anything apart from that. And I had legal representation. So to me, I'm good. And they had legal representation too, quote unquote. Then to realize that these people were impersonating lawyers, it was just it's like a movie. But then when I realized that, damn, I need my money back, then it's like,
there's no money to be had.
There's no money.
Because the money was spent.
The money's gone. And I have all my contracts notarized. And I'm like, here, this payment. And that's why it became such a crazy case, because I had everything.
Do you think it was a Ponzi scheme?
It was.
Or what do you think?
Evil scheme, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, they prey on like Caribbean people, because we come from, like, especially if you come from humble beginnings, you're like, you know what? I want to build something that I can look back and be like, okay, this is for my father.
So this is for my work hard.
And we work
very,
extremely.
very, very
so
hard.
when they see that, they're like, you know what? I can't just go to a Caucasian person and present this and be like, oh, come on, buddy. But if I go to my people, they'd be like, yo, I understand. You know what? Yes, you make sense. And they were successful in my eyes, right? When I came here, they had a lot of the stuff that I like, the cars. Like, I like flashy stuff, right? Because in Jamaica,
because you're West Indian.
Yeah, in Jamaica, I got access to cable TV. So I'm like, I want to come to America. I see BET, Cash Money. I was like, is that what America's like for real?
No, it's true.
Where I'm at, we don't have that, you know? So when I'm here and I'm successful now, it's like, okay, I want to be around more successful people. And these are people that I looked at in the community like, wow, they're doing the things that I would like to do. I would like to give back a certain type of way, but
Right.
not knowing that they're building their empire
Yeah.
off of other people's struggle.
Now, at the same time,
know?
it hurts the community too, because
Absolutely.
And it be your own people.
It be your
That's-
own.
and that's the sad part.
That's the thing that hurts.
That's
the
the sad
most.
part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the sad part. But then again, like I said, it helped me to really level up and have more businesses and just really, being in alignment.
Oh, no, when I get off
And
here.
I scrutinize everything now.
I thought
Like you
said-
can
I
never
said
come to
Friday.
me and be like, hey, this.
But I'll
No.
see you when I
So
call
that's
when I
why
get out.
trading to me is so powerful, where
Yeah.
it's just me and the markets.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure, sure.
I don't
Sorry
have
about
to
that.
go and invest $500,000 just to make any amount of money. I
Sure,
can
sure.
scale a small account and build it, which I've done multiple times. Like
Sure,
I just came from Dubai like 2 months ago, and I took $1,000 account and I took it to like 10,000 plus within a month and a half, and then I went to Dubai. But the thing with trading is that it's you versus you, right?
Yeah.
But you have to have that skill set. You have to have that skin in the game. It took me years to become this profitable, right? I lost over $50,000 in trading, but that was due to me. But then again, I
human
had-
error.
Human error, but I'm learning at the same time, like what works and what doesn't. But look, my biggest day was 45K. So who cares if I lost 50 over like 6 years or
Mhm.
5 years?
Mhm.
It doesn't matter.
And like I was saying before the phone rang,
Yeah.
it hurts the community, because if that happened to me, I would be like, I ain't doing business. I don't
Yeah.
care what restaurant you
Yeah.
got. I don't care what you're trying to sell me. I'm going somewhere else to go get me a deal.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's the thing to see. It comes with experience.
Right.
Like you're here, you see everything. I moved here 2014.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there are just certain people that I saw around me that looked like they were
No,
winners.
I get it.
You know?
I understand, and I
Yeah.
see exactly how it happened and how it could have happened
Yeah.
and how it can happen to other people.
Yeah, and
You
that's
know?
it. But no, it's like with that
If
highlight.
you don't know, or if you've never been around that
Yeah,
before, you'll never know
you never know.
until it happens.
You never. And
You know?
I was surprised the amount of people they have, law enforcement people that got scammed by it, people that were working for lawyers that got scammed. So many people. Even some of my students, I'm like, such and such. They'd be like, were you a part of that? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it's sad. Older people sold their homes.
Were you one of the larger sums?
I was the
or-
largest.
Oh, okay.
But they did this over time, maybe 10 from this person. Hey, okay, you just got like we call it partner or susu. You got
I was just about to say,
Yeah.
so he was playing banker.
let me take this from you. Oh, you just sold your home?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with the money? Oh, this. And then they're using like they're using their
The-
reputation.
But they use the reputation and collateral of other people
Yes.
to pay
See-
off if
see,
they've got to pay.
You know,
exactly.
You just got to play the game. Huh? What money? Oh no, that all went there.
But right now, it's
I don't
like
have
you
anything.
don't even need to answer to nobody. Like,
Yeah, you don't.
That's not your business.
Right, it's
you
not
know?
your business.
You don't ask me about money.
Mm.
I got a family member. He lost 60. He got scammed 60K in crypto.
Yeah.
Right. I know another person. I'm trying to remember I can't remember. But I mean, again, like we said earlier, the scammers are working
Yeah,
diligently
Overtime.
it's crazy though.
hard to get your money.
It's great, and you have to
And-
protect it, especially if you work hard. For
And there's
yours.
all kinds of scams,
Yeah.
like with the phishing. I mean, from American Express to Visa to all the banks, there's all kinds of phishing that goes on that
Mhm.
people fall for all the time. Amazon, you get an email, your password, please
Yep.
change your password, and they put all the information in,
right.
and the next thing you know, their bank account is drained.
For
I
real.
got a friend in ATL. I remember her. She called me up crying because she got scammed out of her crypto and her bank accounts and all of that.
Right. And it's so funny. This morning, someone reached out to me because they're getting a message from TikTok.
Yeah.
Someone like created a profile.
Oh, matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned that.
someone
let me
pretended
show
to
you.
be
Yeah, someone created
Listen.
a fake profile
I'm
about
glad,
me talking about crypto. And
I'm glad you
I
said
was like,
that.
what?
I got
Oh,
that
that
this
means you're
morning.
famous. That
And
means you're
that's what I'm
famous.
saying. I was like, yo, I'll never inbox
so
anybody.
I'ma
talking
show
about
it
no
to you
crypto.
right now.
What you should do then is probably break in and get the blue tick,
Yeah.
just so that your people know
Right,
when
right.
it's really
Yo,
you
here it is
versus
right
when
here.
it's not.
And I knew it wasn't you.
Yeah, because I'm
I
like,
knew it wasn't you.
it says, yo, I don't even talk like
Right.
that.
I knew it
Like,
wasn't
yo,
you.
Like, what?
Like, I'm like, yo, this ain't my dude.
Yeah. And then my boy called me from Jamaica. He's like, bro, I know this is not you. What are you talking
Exactly.
about?
Exactly.
So I'm like, but you got to be careful, man.
But they
because-
do that, man.
Yeah, of course. But to you, the user, or you on the flip side, you,
You don't
have
know.
to
You
really
don't
be
know.
careful nowadays.
Mhm.
Right.
Because money isn't easy to come by, regardless of how much
And
money
I just
you have.
ignored it. I'm gonna let him
Yeah.
have his fun and keep, trying to
Right.
whatever. I'm hip to all the BS.
But you got to value like your money nowadays.
right.
Like whether it's $1, $200, you just really have to value your money. And then sometimes you might not want nobody in your business, but run it by someone.
Mhm.
Like, hey, what do you think about this? Someone that's credible.
Mhm.
Hey, this person's asking me for this. What do you think about this?
Right.
And get like some type of credible advice before you actually exit with your money, man, because not everybody can withstand that amount of money to be lost.
And the thing is too, like, you got to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Like you said, get other opinions, get second, third
I'm
opinion.
telling you, Steve.
And it'd be even great if you could find someone who's been in the business or in the business
Right.
that could tell you the real deal.
Yeah, because sometimes they
You know?
fluff. Steve, they showed me some tax returns, bro, and I'm looking at these numbers because I'm a numbers guy. I'm like, yo, this is crazy, and I'm talking to my lawyer like, look at this, and everything that they presented, even though it was fake, it was so well put together, man.
Right.
It was crazy, But long story short, man, I took it on the chin,
Mhm.
and it made me a monster in making money.
Right.
Right now it's like, okay, I'm just in flow state. But then again, too, like, it had to happen. I'm not mad that it happened. I just embraced the journey and embraced who it made me
Right.
into,
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We don't have much more time left, but real quick before you go, are you invested into crypto?
So not long term. I used to have some Bitcoin, but I sold. But now I just day trade everything.
You sold it Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Why?
How long ago?
Not too long, probably like last year.
But why?
Oh, man.
Why didn't you
I
hold
was,
it?
I was just day trading it, and I was starting the swing trade. But crypto wasn't something that I just held on to.
Right.
I was just always day trading every asset that I have, and I was like, you know what? Let me mess around with Bitcoin. But
Right.
then it dropped, and I bought, and I was like, okay, I'm out.
Right.
But now looking at the trend, like, it's all the way up, and it's
Mhm.
similar to gold, right?
No doubt.
I have a lot of jewelry, and then a lot of people are like, yo, why you buying jewelry? Why you buying this? Why you buying that? Last year, gold was all the way down, right?
Mhm.
To around, I think, probably like 2,000 or probably like $1,800 per ounce. Now gold is what, like 3,300? You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's with me looking at the charts.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing with crypto. So, I mean, now I'm gonna start like building my cryptocurrency portfolio. But
Yeah.
I don't own
Now's
anything right
a good time.
Now would be the
And-
time. I would tell you to go into anything in the ISO 2022
Yeah.
platform.
And here's the thing, real quick. Trump is telling you,
That what the plan is.
and people are like, oh, I don't like him, forget him, F him, boom, 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 boom. But when this thing takes off,
what coins are you holding, Steve?
I can't.
We don't talk about
I
those
can't.
things
You
on
don't
air
talk about
anymore.
it.
Not
Okay,
anymore.
got you.
I don't
You
hold
gotta,
any.
you gotta go into the archives. and
I
see
don't
what's
hold
on.
any, man.
We've been,
And I can show you that I don't hold any.
Yeah.
the thing is, we've been talking about crypto now 3.5 years. Goose, we've been together
3.5.
Yeah, so Goose and I have been together 3.5 years on air, and we would spend hours talking about just all this, the Fed now, and what's happening with Swift, and how the market's moving, and why these projects are important.
Mhm.
More on the lines of wanting to educate our community so people can be part of this massive generational wealth transfer that is literally only going to happen in this lifetime.
Mhm.
And a lot of people kind of were like, y'all crazy. Y'all keep talking about this crypto. It's not safe. It's a scam. They're going to take your money. Only gangsters and drug dealers, and all this, nonsense that was being pushed. And Goose and I are like, nah. This is the real deal. This is what's about to be. This is the wave.
Mhm.
And some people have, at one point Goose was putting on these kind of like informational one-on-one kind of like situations where he was teaching people about the ins and outs of the simplicity of how to do this. You hear big words, blockchain, and you hear, words like dividend. You hear all these, and it's set up to make you feel scared the same way that, Fidelity and BlackRock and Grayscale and all these guys came in and said, hey, to our parents, give us your money, we'll invest it because you're not smart enough to trade.
You're right.
And we're going to take a percentage of whatever money we make off of your money, but you're still going to make money, but we're going to make money with you.
Right.
And reality is someone like yourself, like you said, 6 years in the game, you've been able to kind of figure out what these things mean. You've made some mistakes, you've lost money, you've gained money, whatever that might look like. A lot of our parents were too afraid.
Right.
And even culturally, the reason why the Susu hand even exists is because banks were not trustworthy in the Caribbean thing. It's culturally, you have to understand being West Indian is like, you might as well be on a different planet.
Yeah, for real.
Like, I'm just being honest, right? And I say this all the time. So when you think about how even money is respected amongst us as West Indians, right? There's certain calibers of standard that the expectation is. And that even goes into career. Right. So you have not made it unless you're a teacher, you're a nurse, you're an accountant, you're a doctor. There are certain ticks that you have to kick. And if you don't do these things, you failed.
Right.
Then it's financial. Well, do you own your home? Right. And usually what will happen is you'll have family members that will go in on a house and we don't stop until each family member owns a house. Right. And everyone lives in that same one house until everybody's in their own house. Culturally, that's the norm. Right. What happens, unfortunately, in the overall community is that is not the norm.
Right.
And so you're fighting against the tide of respect for money. And then, like you said, you have the American movie cinema being thrown in your face that you think you come to America and this money is just laying on the ground and all you got to do is just put doop, boop, boop, and now you have all this. Because also what happens is our people, they bull into this because they send the barrels. You go home, you're wearing the best clothes, but what they forgot to tell you is it took them 4 years to save up the money for them to make this trip, and all the clothes have tags because they've been putting the clothes up for 4
a long
years.
time. Absolutely. My mom sends barrels a lot to Jamaica, and it's like they don't realize what my mom had to do, right? They just see that, okay, we have 6 barrels. Okay, America is great. But they don't look at how many long hours you have to work. Like, you have to sacrifice going out just because you want them to kind of, experience a better life. Because in the Caribbean or any third world country, not everything is as easily accessible as over here.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? You can get $1. It's easy to get $1. But when you look at the conversion, like $100 and something in like a Jamaica, it's not hard for you to go and pick up $1. And over here, homelessness in America is completely different from homelessness
over there
in the Caribbean or in Jamaica.
Well, because the structure, the social economic structure that is in play doesn't exist.
Right.
In the Caribbean, we don't have housing. We don't have welfare. There's no food stamps. There's not even elderly care the way we have it here.
None of that. And that's something that I speak about a lot too, because, as a landlord at one point, I had my tenants on Section 8 and they were paying Section 8. But in Jamaica, if you can't pay your rent, there's no assistance. If you say you're really homeless, you're living outside with the stray dog or something or under a bridge. But over here, it's like, and I always refer to this, like in America, you can't really fail, right? Like the bottom here is like someone's success somewhere else.
Because because if we look at I love numbers. Yeah. I'm a numbers person because numbers, if you don't fudge them, they tell a very good story, right? The average 1% of wealth, right, of all the world, the mean of that is $36,000. Just wrap your brain around that, right? So the average to be in the 1% in the world for wealth, you have to make at least $36,000. Now that all becomes relevant when you start thinking about, where you're living, what kind of car, like all that stuff becomes relevant, right? But why is that? Because poverty, in the way that it's structured here, doesn't reflect what true poverty looks like when you're in the Caribbean or when you're in these third world countries that are not developed as well. And also too, we were talking about this, I think 2 shows ago, how public health care in the Caribbean, like, you go to DR, for example, if you have to do stitches, you have to go buy the sutures for the doctor to put the stitches in. Like, you literally there are vendors outside the gates of the hospital with crutches and canes and all the things that you would need, because it's not provided to you, as if when you come here to the States and you go to the Beth Israel, you go to the Brigham, you go to the BMC, wherever, you're coming out with the stitches in your body, you're coming out with the crutches, you're coming out with the cane, whatever it is you need to be mobile. It is different when you go into these places and you experience that, the poverty level. Like, even we don't have stray dogs running around the streets here. It doesn't exist. And if they are, they're caught very quickly and they're brought into a shelter. And they probably
get some insurance. They probably get some.
They get surgeries and everything else. Well, there are kill shelters. Don't get me wrong. I get it. But overall, in the Caribbean, they run in packs. and they're fighting for their life. They're hoping to get a bone. They're hoping,
Mhm.
and it's just a different expectation. It's just a different life. It's just everything is different. So kudos to you for the success. I think that's
Thank
super
you.
dope. I can't wait to see what you accomplish and you achieve next. And Goose, good
Thank you
find.
so much.
I guess Goose will bring you back in next week for relationships.
sure, man.
I won't
I'm
be
ready.
here. I
Yeah.
won't be
You should
here.
come
'Cause-
in. Why
no,
not?
I'm not allowed.
Oh
He doesn't.
man,
He doesn't allow me.
we gotta have the fun with all three of us.
Oh,
He doesn't allow me in the house when that happens.
Oh man.
yeah. Yeah, that's gonna do it.
All right, Goose.
All right, folks.
We
Thanks for
appreciate
tuning
you.
in.
I know we've been
And,
doing all this with no background music. What's going on, Goose?
Any shouts, man? You want?
Yeah, first of all, the Day Trading Warrior. That's where you can find my mentorship. And on Instagram, it's Demark_Davis. Facebook, Demark Davis. And listen up, guys, trading isn't as intimidating as you think. You just need the right mentorship. Come on over. I'll show you exactly what you need to dominate these charts. And come on, let's make some money together. Let's get it.
All right. Thank you, folks.
We appreciate you.